Tonight or what?
Yeah, we are gonna party.
So, what would you little maniacs like to do first?
Hey, Lashy Kids and Driving Mutants. How is everybody doing today? Let me see how everything looks on here. Let me minimize that so I can see this a little bit better. Okay, that's better. Check out my t-shirt. I got this for my birthday. It's like the Beatles' Abbey Road album, but as you can see, you have Michael Myers, Freddy Krueger, Jason Voorhees, and Pennywise, where I kind of feel like one of these kids is doing his own thing. Yeah, I don't feel like Pennywise should be there. If anything, it should be, I feel like it should be, well, yeah, I don't know. I kind of feel like maybe it should be Candyman or Chucky more so than Pennywise. All right, let's see what the comments are looking like here. Sorry, I got hair on my face. Tony Man says, y'all been eating, wait, let me say it. Y'all been eating long enough. Stop being greedy. Keep it real, partner. Give to the needy. Ribs a touch and don't make me wait. Fuck around and I'll bite you and snatch the plate. I forgot who sings that, but I know it's a rap song from the 90s. I feel like it's from the 90s. Tony Man says, whenever I hear your Please Allow song, it puts me in a good mood here at work. Oh, that's good. I'm glad to hear that. Angela is here. Angela W. Hi. Oh, you know what? Am I not putting these on the screen? I'm reading these and not putting them on the screen. That's the first one. There's the second comment. And this one is Angela's comment. Marty is here from Trash Picture Show. It says, yo, Lady Shasha tweeted your live kick-ass t-shirt. Thank you. Yeah, I have so many t-shirts. I should start like a t-shirt Tuesday because I have so many t-shirts I've run out of room to store them. I'm gonna have to start hanging them up in a closet because I usually keep them folded. Someone says, you straightened your hair. Oh, I'm so glad that you think this is my hair. This is a brand new wig that looks like my hair, which is why I got it. Because it was like, oh, I can, if I'm not feeling like doing my hair or having a bad hair day, I can wear this wig that looks like my hair. It's actually slightly darker because this is a 1, and I usually would wear like a 2. I'm this is wig language. I don't expect you to understand it unless you are a wig wearer. But yeah, the colors are numbered. And this is a 1 I usually wear a 2. I might get away with a 4 because in the summertime my hair is kind of more like a 4. But this is a 1 and it still looks pretty cool. I like it a lot. And I like the flip on the sides. I like that like 70s thing going. Tommy says, DMX, how dare you? I know. I feel so bad now for not recognizing that as a DMX lyric. You know what my favorite DMX lyric actually is mind your business, lady. Nosy people get it too. Didn't you see me spit at you? Yeah, I know, it's pitiful. I'm sorry. I'm gonna stop rapping because I'm not a rapper, but that's one of my favorite DMX lines. Lorgen is here. He says, hello, Lady Shasha, and my hard chat family. And Marty says, holy shit, that's a wig. It looks real. Yeah, well, this one actually is real human hair. Most of my wigs are synthetic hair though. But because I wanted the one that looks like my hair, I got like the human one because I can just roll it up and do different things with it. Oh, you're going to see a lot more. The other reason why I'm taking this one out for a test drive is I have a cosplay lined up. I have so many cosplays lined up between the end of, I was going to only start them in October, but no, I have to start in September. So I can't wait for October. I have to start in September. So you're going to see a couple cosplays coming soon. I got my wig. I should show you maybe tomorrow I'll show you my wig bin. I have like a container that is like, it's huge and it's filled with wigs and it's not even all my wigs. But when you cosplay, you end up acquiring so many wigs. Tony says, I usually wear a 7 in wigs. Okay, yeah, that wouldn't be your hair color. Actually, your hair color, I'll tell you the number that corresponds. I don't ever get, well, I shouldn't say I don't ever, but I rarely get dirty blonde wigs. So let me see what his hair color be. Somewhere between a 27. Yeah, I would say you'll be a 27 in the 27 range for your wig hair color. And what number did you put? You put 7. Yeah, so you had one of the digits, but your hair color would probably be a 27. Hard Retrospective is here. She says, howdy, howdy. And then she said, where did you get the wig? If you don't mind asking, I've been looking for a good one. This one just came from a local beauty supply store, but I can, if you give me a second, I can tell you what package it is. Hang on just a second. Did I put it? Oh, I put it over there. Okay, so this one is Vixen, and it says high quality human hair, soft lace. And the other info, the name of it is VH3. I'll put it there. And the color is 1, which is like, I think it's 1 would be a regular black, although sometimes it's not the blackest of blacks, even if it is listed as a 1. And it comes in a nice box, but I have so many wigs that I usually transfer them into Ziploc bags because it's just trying to store all these would be difficult. So I transfer them into Ziploc bags. Okay. I'll try to get these headphones back in because we are going to watch a little bit of stuff today, even though this stream is meant to like wrap up the season, because I had started reviewing From, but I didn't finish it. So I figured we'd have a good conversation, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. How many of you have watched From, by the way? I mean, well, Marty says, hey, Kara, Shasha, how much do they set you back, if you don't mind me asking? Oh, this one is more expensive. Well, actually, this one my mother got for me for my birthday, but this one was $60, and then we got a discount on it, so it was like $53. But usually some of my wigs can be as low as like $14, especially the synthetic ones that are like brightly colored. If you see me with a pink, green, the green, blue, I think I have a blue one. Those I never paid more than, I think at most $17 on Amazon, but most of them are $14. And it's important to look at the reviews, because the way it looks in the picture may not be how it looks when it comes to you. So it's really important, especially if you're ordering from Amazon, to look on the reviews to see how the customers' photos of the wigs look. But you can find some really, really nice wigs for a good deal on Amazon, I find. But yeah, this one was just a local beauty supply store, because I live maybe a mile and a half away from a beauty supply. And it just literally just says beauty supply. Angela says, OMG, I love wigs and gives so much vibe for me. Yes, and this one I really wanted it's actually not as big as I'm planning on making it, because I wanted to have kind of that, for lack of a better reference, because I know a lot of people aren't familiar with Donna Summer, because she also had similar hairstyle, but the Farrah Fawcett flip, that's what I kind of wanted on the sides. And because this is well, some synthetic wigs you can roll up to, but this one I think I'm going to roller set it so I can get it bigger. And I got some Final Net. No, it's not Final Net, it's Aquanet. My bad. You have to get, this is for us people that grew up in the 80s. This right here, if you want to make your hair bigger, Aquanet. Like, there's no substitute that I have found just yet. But they did used to have one called Final Net, or maybe that I'm being Mandela affected, because I totally remember this being called Final Net and not Aquanet. But, or that could have been a separate company. Don't know. But that was the truth in the light back in the day. Kara says, this is nice packaging. Yeah, it is. I felt like like I spent top dollar, but I didn't, because some human hair wigs can run anywhere from $230 on up to, like, there's one girl that she said her wig cost $800. That was on 90 Day Fiance. Don't know whether she was telling the truth, but I can't see myself spending $800 on a wig. I don't live that type of life. Tony Man says, I came here for the From review and I'm watching a wig show. I'm sorry. We got off topic. Lorjan says, I have. And Kara says, thanks for the info. No problem. If you want, I can take a photo and DM it to you. Tony says, $60. I'm letting my hair grow out and saving $60. And Kara says, my sister loved Aquanet. Yes. I remember, like, when I was in middle school, I didn't particularly use Aquanet. I used LA Looks gel, because I have naturally curly hair, so I usually use the LA Looks gel. But if you wanted to, like, have, if you want to scrunch your hair and then have more holds to make it look bigger, then that's when you use the Aquanet. And I remember the girls that had straighter hair would be in the mirror, and they'd have a brush, and they would be holding their hair with a brush like this and spraying the Aquanet like this to get those wings on the side. I remember seeing girls doing that, and when I was like 12 and these girls were like 14. So I'm just observing them doing these things. Tony says, my sister used Aquanet back in the day. Kara says, that would be awesome. Thanks. No problem. No, let's get into the show. you guys didn't answer my question. Have you watched From? Because that'll give me a little bit more of an idea of how I would like to speak about it. I'll put it on the screen here. And I did compare it to Midnight Mass. Toteman says, let's not forget hair mousse. Oh, I still use that. I could pull more from over here, but I still use mousse. Yeah. I'm still waiting to hear if y'all watched From. If not, what I'm gonna do, because I have something else lined up. It's still From related, but as I was preparing for this, I found some really cool videos that I think I would like to react to. I have not watched them beforehand. I just saved them to watch later. So I mean, just says speak away. Well, let me just say, since most of the people here, I'm thinking, have not watched From, the reason why I'm comparing it to Midnight Mass is that both surround small towns and small town folk having to deal with a supernatural threat. That's what we'll call it, because it's not in Midnight Mass. I believe that the threat are meant to be vampires, and From, the threat are vampiric in the way that they don't come out during the daytime, yet their other qualities are not vampiric at all. Like they kind of like eat people and destroy their bodies more so than just suck blood. So, I mean, spoiler alert, I guess. Marty says, I need to check it out. If it's like Midnight Mass, I'm down. Yeah, I actually enjoyed it more than Midnight Mass, mostly because of the pacing. I feel like Midnight Mass took too long to develop. Like, there's these super long scenes in Midnight Mass that I don't feel need to be that long in order to get their point across. Like, Midnight Mass has so many scenes of just one character sitting there talking for like 15 minutes straight. And it's like, why didn't you just shoot a flashback or condense what they're saying into maybe a 3 or 4 minute soliloquy? 15 minutes is like, there's several times where I've fallen asleep on Midnight Mass because of that, because of the pacing. The creatures look great in both shows. I'm trying to remember. Well, know what? I can't fully talk about Midnight Mass because I did not see the finale. So know that I have not seen the finale of Midnight Mass. So after I see the finale, then I'll really be able to compare the two. So this is just a tentative comparison, not like my final end all be all. So I do have to finish Midnight Mass. The acting is great on both shows. There's no complaints on that. Like, amazingly acted, and both shows are showing how much the writers, let me say, pay homage to Stephen King. Both shows feel like they would be Stephen King properties, even though they're not Stephen King properties. I'll put this one up there. I don't think I did. Angela says, I haven't seen it, but open to hear the story. Okay, cool. Tony says, those From creatures sound like vampires in 30 Days a Night killing for sport. The way they attack does remind you of 30 Days of Night, because they're not the type of, well, they go back and forth. They go back and forth from trying to borrow a True Blood term, glamour people by talking to them very sweetly, like, oh, why don't you open the door? Why don't you let me in? You know, I'm your grandmother. I'm your friend. To like the moment that you open that door, that window, they rage the hell out like the 30 Days a Night vampires and just tear you apart. But what's interesting and what makes them less like vampires is that a lot of times they will assume the form of someone that you've known. So I don't know what their true form is just yet. Then there's a whole nother threat, because there's a part where they go into the forest. Let me tell you, it was Boyd, and what is the other character's name? I have like a cheat sheet because there were so many characters in this. It was Boyd and Sarah. Boyd and Sarah went into the I guess the forest, and there's other creatures in the forest. I don't know whether we're meant to be, well, the way that it seems like they're doing things is that it's meant to be a dimensional thing. Like, they're stuck in a dimension rather than an island. Midnight Mass, those people are on an island, and so sometimes they will go to the mainland, but I think they were stuck on an island due to a storm. So it still gives you that feeling of isolation, Whereas from, they're stuck in that town. And when they try to leave the town, every time they drive out, they enter a vortex that circles them back around, and they just end up driving right back into town. And they do it over and over and over again to try to get out. I mean, whenever someone new comes there. And the title From is alluding to the fact that everyone in that town is originally from somewhere else. They just happen to, unfortunately, drive into that town. They see the fallen tree, and they take the detour, and they drive into that town, and they can never get out. So I think that's kind of cool. I got to get a new chair. My chair is like creaking and cracking. So sorry if you can hear that. Marty says, I love the slow buildup of Midnight Mass. I think it was the best accidental Salem's Lot remake. Yes. Both of these remind me of Salem's Lot. There's like, I don't know if you were here, Marty, when I talked about episode 1, and they showed the scene where, you know, one of the creatures is knocking on a little girl's window. And I said, oh my God, that's Salem's Lot. That like really, really reminded me of Salem's Lot. Not saying that every time a vampire knocks on your window, it's Salem's Lot, but it's kind of, Salem's Lot's kind of iconic for that particular scene to me. Even though it's been a long time since I've rewatched it. I don't think I've ever rewatched it as an adult when I think about it. I think I only remember seeing it as a kid on television. Yeah, I need to rewatch that as an adult to see if it still holds up. Tony says, I did fall asleep on the last episode, but woke up to see the bus pull up and thought, season 2, here we come. Mm-hmm. More people for the creatures to eat. But let's get into what I found, because I'd love to hear you guys, your reactions to this. Well, we're all reacting to this together for the first time. Let me open a tab. Because I saved a bunch of these. I was just looking for clips from the show to show on the stream. And I found a bunch of like behind the scenes clips. And we'll check those out to see how cool that is. I mean, maybe it's not for everyone, but I love to see behind the scenes stuff. Especially when it has to do with the makeup and special effects, because that was originally what I wanted to be. Growing up, I wanted to be a special effects tech. But the time period in which I was going to college in the 90s, CGI was like the big thing. Just hang on a second. I'm trying to adjust the speed. Unfortunately, I have to watch these at a different speed because, you know, these companies hate free advertising. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. It really sucks. Okay, that's all set up. So let me stop this screen and share this other screen. Okay, I see you, Marty. No problem. Hey, welcome to the Dark Side is here. Good to see you. I hope you're doing well. Okay, got the audio. Here we go. I'm going to make myself small and make that a little bit bigger so we can see better. All right, so this is the first featurette from Epix, and it's behind the scenes on a stunt that they did. So let's check it out.
When these guys go for it, they really go for it. It's controlled chaos.
I couldn't be more excited about what's going on here. There's a lot of stunts and running and jumping and being chased through the woods.
We have Boyd and Jim struggling in the RV. We have the monster attacks.
No!
We had Donna punching Dale in the face.
You stayed out of my sight.
Car stunts, the near miss, the rolls, the rigs. And we had Ellis jumping off that porch roof into a box rig.
Don't try this at home.
There's a lot of preparation that goes into it. And boxes, so many boxes.
Our stunt crew is fantastic. Anything we come up with, they're going to find a way to do.
We throw something at them and they say, great, we're on it. And Ellis's jump from the roof is one of them.
It's taking over everything. We were able to get our hands on some really exciting stunt work. It was just a wild ride, man. It was awesome.
We send our stunt double into the ground, then take the stunt double out, put the actor in, and he carries on with the scene.
Tim Cody, our stunt coordinator, and his entire crew get it done in a way that looks very much grounded in our world.
He brings this enthusiasm to the task as if it's his first show. You need guys like that.
We've got a group of exceptionally talented people who are going for the reality and trying to make it as rich as it can be, which is all you can ever ask for.
It's just a great, exciting ride. It is controlled chaos.
And cut! That was very exciting.
If there was a stunt that I wanted to do, it would be either jumping through a glass window or being put through a glass coffee table. I just feel like that would be a cool stunt to film. Welcome to Dark Says, I'm doing good. I finally made it to your live. I'm glad as well. Y'all check out her channel if you haven't seen her channel, and she's great with keeping up with the shows, or more so movies, horror movies that are coming out on a different streaming services. She will give you like weekly updates of what's popping, what's coming out on the different streaming services that are worth a watch. Tony says, I just got a good look at the hair. It looks beautiful. You look like you're helping campers at Crystal Lake, or someone is red dust and you're in a shopping mall with your younger sister. Oh, I like that reference to Night of the Comet. Yes, that's what I was going for. I wanted that early 80s. Well, actually, Night of the Comet is more late 80s. I feel like that came out in 87, but I might be mistaken. But I wanted that late 70s, early 80s look. So yes, I like that. Okay, I got another behind the scenes lined up. That one was a little anticlimactic. I thought it was going to be more than just a guy, jumping.
The only punishment for that crime is a night in the box.
But you keep one of those.
Okay, why are you not pausing? He wants to fight with me. Don't fight with me. Okay, let's go into the next one. Let's see what y'all think of this one. Because that one, like I said, it was a little anticlimactic. Like, it's cool that they did the jumping scenes, but for stunts, and I respect it, but I wanted to see more about like the scenes where the vampires are tearing people apart, or also the aftermath, the people who make the special effects artists that make when they show the aftermath of the people getting ripped up. Like, I want to see what those people are working on.
When someone's actions or negligence leads to the death of a resident, the only punishment for that crime is a night in the box.
But you keep one of those talismans in there, right?
No.
Jesus.
The people in town live by a more strictly enforced code.
If anyone dies because of you not following the rules, then you have to go into a place that I created called the box.
A man protects his family, Brink.
Which basically means you're going to be put out at night without the protection of a talisman.
The box was an interesting challenge for us. It was not described as anything specific in the script, so I wanted to find something that you might find in a town that's a regular object. We found a great old horse trailer. It's quite gnarly when you look at the rust and the grates and the holes, and the wooden sides were replaced with balsa wood breakaway sides.
I built the goddamn box as a deterrent. It's supposed to scare people.
What happens next time? You built a guillotine in the town square. What do you think happens when people realize you lack the conviction to use it?
Boyd is holding this town together, but at the same time, he doesn't want to do it. He's afraid it's immoral, it's murder. What am I doing?
Boyd understands the weight of taking the life away from someone else.
God damn it!
If you don't take care of your family.
I still don't like Boyd's son. That character was so annoying to me. I get his difficulty. I get why he was upset with his father, but he still was super annoying to me.
You're exposed to these creatures.
Poor Frank. He has to go in the box and face his punishment.
I'm ready.
He wasn't there to protect his family, and he has to pay for that.
And then we'll go right into the next one. Yeah, because I have a few here. Tony Mann says, Night of the Comet came out in 1984. Why do I feel? Oh, I know why I feel like it came out later. Because I didn't see it till it was on cable. I saw it on HBO, and that probably would have been around 1986. That's why, in my mind, I think of it as being later 80s. I think there's a few movies like that in my mind, I remember them being later 80s because I saw them on cable television years after they actually came out in the movie theater.
Hey, Julie! There are things you need to know about where you are. This, unfortunately, is going to be the worst conversation of your life.
The two places.
Before I get into this one, I should explain more about the box for the people who haven't watched the series. Why his punishment was so harsh that he had to be in that box. He unfortunately was an alcoholic, and they were told, everyone in town was told to nail their windows shut, especially if they have children. And instead of him nailing his windows shut in his house, he went to the bar and got drunk and passed out on the floor. And his daughter, who looked to be about 7 years old, saw her grandmother, or a creature pretending to be her grandmother, outside the window, pretending, and asking her to open the window. And because the windows were not nailed shut, the little girl opened the window and the creatures got her. Now, mind you, this is one of the first scenes within the first 7 minutes of this series. So this is letting you know how serious they are when they unalive a child in the first 7 minutes of the series. And then you see the aftermath, and her body, it's like her chest is open, it's like a gaping cavity in the middle, and you see a little bit of her organs left, but not much. That's why I keep thinking maybe they're not vampires, because they eat the organs, they don't just drink the blood. But anyways, that's why he had to go into the box. Donna just being real. Hey, Donna, how are you doing this week? I hope everything's going well. Says hi, Shasha in chat.
The people live in the town.
Okay, I feel like he would have got teased since, I'm thinking back to the 90s. His name is Jack Bender, and that alone would have got him teased in the 90s. Not saying it's right, because I feel like, Gen Z, y'all are on it when it comes to being inclusive and not bullying people. Well, you go back and forth. You guys fluctuate. On the one hand, you're like, respect people's pronouns. And on the other hand, you're like, F you, I'll burn it all to the ground. Like, you guys got to... I respect you, Gen Z, but sometimes your anger is off the charts when you do get angry. Although I can understand why, like, you're coming of age during a extremely traumatic time period. But anyways, back to Jack Bender.
Are up on a hill in this big old falling down mansion.
The Colony House, which is like Woodstock, I guess. Fun-loving, hippie, drug-taking party house.
They live every moment like it's your last.
Or they live down below in the town in these crazy little buildings that were built a long time ago.
That's the place where I lead.
My father, Sheriff Boyd, make sure that nobody gets out of line.
A man protects his family, Frank. No! Lock him up.
Everybody has the same drive to go home, but it's what's in the forest that you have to be afraid of.
Whether they live in Colony House, whether they live in town. When night falls, you better be inside somewhere safe.
You also have the group that live in the woods.
Listen to me. These woods are not safe after dark. There are things in the woods hunting us that feed on human beings.
Open the door!
These people are trapped, stuck, desperate to get out.
Victor! What the hell are you doing? You're freaking people out.
I was just trying to get a head start this time.
Pause it before it rolls into the next one. Tony Man says, Army Hammer sounds like a porn name as well. You have to check out that documentary. It's on, I think it's on Discovery Plus. It's called House of Hammer, and he's not the only one. His whole, well, not whole family, because he has one auntie that was talking to the documentarians, pretty much spilling all the family's tea. But he is just the most recent in a long generation of, or long succession, I guess, of sociopathic, psychopathic people. Like, if you read about what his father did and what his grandfather did, oh my God, it pales in comparison. We're talking about some real sick stuff here, including murders. So yeah, if you watch that House of Hammer, and it tells about Army Hammer's hit the stuff that it starts off talking about what he did to those girls, and then it talks about what his father did and what his grandfather did. It's just like a psychopath DNA. I don't know what I mean. I don't know. It's wild. It's really, really wild. I was going to say something about Boyd's relationship. He has a better relationship with his deputy Kenny than with his son, and I liked kind of the relationship he has with Kenny as a kind of surrogate father. Even though Kenny has a father, his father suffers from Alzheimer's disease and is very elderly, and so he was kind of getting more mentoring from Boyd, and he has like a more of a relationship with Boyd, and there's tension between Kenny and I never remember even Boyd's son's name. I remember Kenny's name and not his son's name. What was his son's name? Let me look on here. Ellis. Yeah, Ellis irritated my whole life. He was just, oh God. Anyways, Boyd had a better relationship with Kenny than with Ellis. And then there was tension between Kenny and Ellis, because Ellis, from Ellis's perspective, it's like, why are you, hanging up underneath my father like that? Like, don't you realize what type of person he is? When really, you know what? When you think about it, now that I think about it, it just occurred to me that first scene when old dude did not nail the window shut and caused his daughter's death. The reason why Boyd was so angry is because he essentially kind of did the same thing, because his son was telling him that his wife was not faring well, that she was not acting normal, and she ultimately ended up having a psychiatric break due to the stress of the situation. But Boyd was so focused on going out in the woods and trying to find a solution, he wasn't there when his wife had her break and was ultimately unalived. I don't know why we have to say that, but you know what I mean. And so it just occurred to me. That's why Boyd was so angry with that character for doing the exact same thing that he did by not being there. Good writing. That's good writing. Tonyman says, that's right, Brian. Gen X in the house. Oh, I skipped one. Brian Renard Davis says 1990s were completely unregulated. Yeah. Some parts of that are good and some parts of that are bad. The good part of that is that I feel that we were allowed to have more creative freedom, especially when it comes to music and movies. Not as much as the 70s and 80s. I feel like the height of creative freedom, or I should say the second height, because I think the original height probably would have been the pre-code movies of the 1920s. That's before the MPAA existed, and they didn't have ratings at all. There was no rated G, rated PG, rated R. None of that existed. So back in those days, in the 20s, they had lots of freedom. And then the MPAA was made, I think it was the Catholic Church that insisted that they do something about the movies. I could be mistaken, but that's what I think it is. And then we didn't get back to having that near that amount of freedom until the late 60s, early 70s, into the 80s. That's when you had so much freedom when it comes to music and movies and artistry. But the negative side of that time period is we still had I can't even say the racism is even worse then than now, because you have literal people crying about the color of elves and mermaids. Like, if you're not like that's the ultimate in racism. If the color of imaginary mythical creatures that don't exist bothers you, that's when you know that you're a racist. Like, there's no way around it. Like, that's just crazy to me. But yeah. And also the homophobia was super bad with my generation. I'm gonna say that we have to own up to the shit that we were raised thinking and doing that was wrong. Tonyman says, did he kill them with a hammer? That's a good horror movie premise. No, and Hammer is not even their original name. When Armie Hammer's grandfather or great grandfather came to the US, he actually took the name when he created the Arm & Hammer company, he took the name Arm & Hammer because he was like so into Soviet Russia, and their symbol was an arm and a hammer. And that's why they changed the name. I forget what their original surname was, but it wasn't Hammer at all. Lorgen says his son's name was Art Boy. yeah, that's all he did was sit up in the room. Going back to the TV show, Lorgen is talking about Ellis. Yeah, I could not remember his name because he just stayed up in the room painting. Like, he wasn't helping with anything. Brian says, Tony, I'm Gen Y 1988. We're similar, just not as groovy as Gen X. Hey, Crystal's in the house. Crystal says, hey, love, it is the whole season with spoilers. I'm doing semi-spoilers today. I'm not talking about how it ends. I'm just talking about just certain things that happen in the season, because I know not everyone has watched the series, and I think more people should watch the series so that we do get a season 2, because I think it's really, really good. And I think it's right up your alley. I think you would like it very much. So I'm only doing like semi-spoilers that are all from like the very beginning of the season. But I am talking about the season as a whole, as far as reviewing it and telling everybody that it was enjoyable for me to watch. Tommy says, no longer occupying this mortal coil. Ah, that's a good one. That is better than saying unalived. No longer occupying this mortal coil. Chris is here. Chris says, the restrictions on movies tracked with comics too. In Search of the Shadows has a good video about it. Things went from wild to near Puritan. In Search of the Shadows is a great channel. I watch them a lot. That is a great channel. Tony Man says, Crystal and Chris, fun times. Hello, ladies. Crystal says, oh, thanks. Hi, Tony Man. And welcome to the dark side says, from just got renewed for season 2. Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad. How my hands went up just like how her emoji. Chris says, hi, Tony Man. Hi, chat. Okay, I'm going to go into the next behind the scenes. I'm just going to let it roll into it.
These talisman, they will protect the houses in town. I don't know why it works, but you got one of those, you keep the doors and windows shut, they can't get in. Never tried it on a vehicle.
This is impossible.
Yeah, it is. They're coming. You put up your talisman every night, and you keep your family safe.
The only thing standing between these creatures that come from the forest are these things that they hang on the door.
Will that even work?
I don't know.
It'll work. It's kind of a do not enter sign for the monsters.
People used to crawl into the bushes, find a place to hide. Pray that they made it through till morning.
There are 12 different talismans. They're all unique. They are made from fake stone to look like slate.
They have these like little ornate stenciling on them.
They're etched by hand. There's a certain amount of symbology on them.
Those are actually runes that they have etched around in a circle. Those are runes, but the symbol in the middle, I couldn't really make out. Tony says, was there even a bus scene or was I dreaming? If it did happen, they set up season 2 really well. I believe there was. Like I said, I think that's the very last, almost the last scene in the last episode that I think you're talking about.
Imagery is not accidental. It's a specific clue that our characters don't necessarily understand, but it is information that's valuable.
Like all religious symbols, they're keeping out the bad stuff and they're blessing your home with goodness, as opposed to the horrible stuff we imagine that could get inside.
Why they work is unclear, but why question it?
And that is an answer that will be given at the end of the series.
So how's this work?
Oh God, Jim, no, no, no!
So you got a little glimpse of what the creatures look like. Crystal says, yep, this is right up my alley. I have to put it on in the queue though. Yeah, this is I didn't watch it on Epix. I watched it on Amazon Prime because there's like a, I don't know what you would call it, like a plugin or something if you have a certain Amazon Prime that lets you watch Epix series. Although for people that might have Sling TV, every now and then Epix will have a free weekend. So you could probably binge watch it when they have a free weekend. Chris says, I hadn't heard of this show before you mentioned it. Now I want to check it out. Yeah, it's pretty good. And I love Harold Perrineau. Like everything that he is in, he is amazing. Going back to I think the first time I saw him was probably I mean, I've seen him in small roles in the late 80s, early 90s, but I think the first time I saw him in like a movie theater screen was the Baz Luhrmann's Romeo and Juliet. He did an amazing him and John Leguizamo. Oh my god, amazing job with that movie. And I don't even like Romeo and Juliet. I'm not into Shakespearean stuff, but I worked at the movie theater at the time that movie came out, so I used to go in there during my break, and I remember seeing their scenes together, him and John Leguizamo, and just amazing work. Lorgen says, I think the creatures are a hybrid of vampire and werewolf. That could be true. I didn't think about that as a possibility. That is really true. Crystal says, oh, and Tonyman says, you saw him in Oz as well as Claus. Yes, I did. Yes. Oz, he played a character that was wheelchair bound, and Claus, he played a character that had autism. And I thought that his portrayal of the person playing being autistic was really realistic, especially since I have an uncle and I have a nephew that are both autistic. So and for a time period, I substituted as a paraprofessional with special needs students, and I worked with children with autism and Down syndrome. And so when I saw his portrayal, I thought it was very realistic. And that's hard to do. Sometimes people will try to portray a person with autism and they go overboard or they miss some certain nuances. And I thought his portrayal, he must have done a lot of studying of the autism spectrum to really nail that. I thought that was really good. All right, let me see if there's another one before I move on. Yeah, there's one more about the talisman, and that's all the clips that I have. So I'll let this one roll into that one. And oh, for Crystal, these are just some. No. Welcome. Oh, maybe that was the last one. Was it? Yeah, that was the last one. Welcome to Watch Mojo. And today. Yeah, I was gonna watch this later because it was about RRR, and we already talked about RRR. Which was one of the best movies I saw this year is RRR. If you have not seen it before, it is a Indian action epic. I would say, yeah, an action epic mostly, but it's not from what is the original one? It's not like T-series or Bollywood. It's from South India, which I think they call. Are they calling it Nolly? Because I think Nigeria is Nollywood. There's a name for it. Let me look it up so I can make sure that I'm saying the correct term. Let me see. Is it Tollywood and Collywood? I think it's. Yeah, Tollywood is the Bengali film industry in West Bengal, India, and Telugu film industry in Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. And then Collywood is a Tamil language film industry based in Chennai and / Nepal. Yeah, these are not. Yeah, Lorgen is not. It's not Bollywood. And yeah, Crystal's right. Nigeria is Nollywood, and Bollywood is North Indian movies where they have like a lot of singing and dancing in it. These are Collywood with a K and Tollywood with a T, which are South Indian, and it says also / Nepal. So that's really cool. I knew it was South Indian specifically because the characters are browner. If you haven't noticed, Bollywood has a colorism issue. They're still working on it, but they have a serious colorism issue. And I can always tell when it's a Tollywood or Collywood movie because you see actual brown Indians in it, and I enjoy that. But yeah, if you have not seen RRR, oh, it's really good. I think it was is it the highest grossing of the year that it came out? I know that, and what's the other one called? KGF. I think let me see. Is it KGF? Yeah. And what's very interesting about some of the movies that are being made in Tollywood and in Hollywood is that they will shoot some of their dialogue sequences twice rather than overdubbing it into different languages. They will just shoot it in different languages. Okay, it says here KGF 2, that's the sequel to KGF. Film crosses RRR to become the second highest grossing film behind Bahubali. Yeah, that one. Bahubali. I just watched the first Bahubali. I have not watched Bahubali 2. But that one is amazing. If y'all are not watching these Indian action films, oh my God, they are like kind of like how our action films were in the 80s, but cranked up to 11. Like if you love like Commando, Invasion USA. I'm trying to think the ones that might have explosions in them because there's explosions in these. Those type of movies. Yeah, I really like that. Tony says, I guess I'll have to watch RRR as long as there's no people mowers or stabbing a dude with a spear and lifting him over your head and flinging them 50 million feet away. No, people mowers. What's a people mower? I don't know about stabbing a dude with a spear and lifting him over your head. I'm trying to get your reference, but it feels like I'm thinking of it. I'm like, that sounds familiar, but I can't place it. I don't know why I can't place it. What I'll do is I'll show some of the trailers for these. And then we'll close it out because I'm getting hungry. Okay. Excuse me, my computer is kind of slow. I'm still using just a Chromebook laptop. And, you know, the big girl back there, she is not fast enough because she's 10 years old now. She's 10 years old. Yeah, Chris is asking the same thing, Tony, man. What the hell were you watching? Now, I will admit that some of the things that are in RRR is Fast and Furious level of you can't do that shit. But I still enjoy it. Okay, I've changed the playback speed.
మా ఆదిలాబాద్ వచ్చినప్పుడు ఓ చిన్నపిల్లని తీసుకొచ్చారు మీరు తీసుకొచ్చింది గోండ్ల పిల్లనండి
Sorry about that.
వాళ్ళకి ఏమైనా రెండు కొమ్ములు ఉంటాయా
It's not pausing. Pause. Try this again. Okay. Okay. Tonyman says it's an Indian movie. I caught the tail end of. Dude had a people mower attached to horses. Welcome to Dark Side says love the season and the mystery of the show. Yes, from it. I can't recommend it enough. I really can't. Like I said, it's if you enjoy Midnight Mass, I think you'll enjoy From, but the pacing is faster in From, and I enjoyed the faster pacing in From. But this is RRR for those that haven't seen.
మా ఆదిలాబాద్ వచ్చినప్పుడు ఓ చిన్నపిల్లని తీసుకొచ్చారు మీరు తీసుకొచ్చింది
RRR also tells some of the story of the British colonization of India and occupation of India. So it does, there are some very heartfelt parts of that. So be forewarned, it's not all just, you know, fun and games. Although the action is fun, there is some true stories being told behind the action.
గోండ్ల పిల్లనండి అయితే వాళ్ళకి ఏమైనా రెండు కొమ్ములు ఉంటాయా ఒక కాపరు ఉంటాడు పులిని పట్టుకోవాలంటే వేటగాడు కావాలి ఆ పని చేయగలిగేది ఒక్కడే సార్ ప్రాణం కన్నా విలువైన నీ సోపతి నా సొంతం ఉన్నా గర్వంతో ఈ మనలో కలిసిపోతున్నాయి
బ్రిటిష్ ప్రభుత్వానికి ఎదురు తిరిగిన నేరానికి నేను అరెస్ట్ చేస్తున్నాను. తొంగి తొంగి నక్కి నక్కి కాదే, తొక్కుకుంటూ పోవాలి, ఎదురొచ్చినోడిని ఏసుకుంటూ పోవాలి.
I'm going to stop that here because this trailer will show the end of the movie, so I'm not going to play that part. Crystal says, I did not like Midnight Mass. I stopped watching it. I have not finished it either. I felt like, I said this earlier, it might have been before you came on, Crystal, but I felt like the basis for the story is good, but it took too long to get to the point. There's so many scenes of Midnight Mass of 15 minutes of a person doing a soliloquy that is so extremely boring. They could have pared that down to like maybe a 2. If you really want to show off their acting chops, give them 2.5, 3 minutes. We get it. But 15 minutes is excessive to have characters just walking and talking and then nothing happens. Like everything that happened in the first 5 episodes could have happened in the first 2 episodes. That's how far things are stretched out. So while I like the story of Midnight Mass, and I also like how they talk about how it talks about religious fanaticism, the pacing was just so bad. It almost feels like it was maybe meant to be a movie and they try to stretch it into a series because maybe they got greenlit for a series and not a movie. That's what I kind of feel like. Welcome to Dark Side says, From is way better than Midnight Mass. I fell asleep when I first watched. So I'm not the only one. I fell asleep. Tony Man said he fell asleep and you fell asleep watching Midnight Mass. But I am going to finish it because I don't want to discount it without seeing how it ends. Tony Man says, I think it's the name you mentioned that outgrows RR. Play the trailer. Oh, I will. Horror Retrospective said, this looks neat. I've never heard of it. I think you would really, really enjoy it. I'm not sure whether RRR is on Amazon or whether it's on Netflix, but it's on one of the 2. Have you got to see the ending of Midnight Mass? It goes stone cold Walking Dead. I have not seen it yet. I am going to watch it because I want to be fair in my comparison. Now, the other one that outgrossed it was KGF. And then I think Bahubali even outgrows that one. We'll do KGF. We'll do KGF 2, I guess, because that's the one that keeps coming up. Because I think KGF 2 was even more popular than KGF 1. Hold on, let me find an English trailer. Okay, this is a teaser. It may or may not have subs, but I know the one that is on Netflix has subs. And KGF also talks about the subjugation of the Indian people when they were forced to work in these mines and mine for diamonds and gold, like the diamond that's on the Queen of England's crown that India has recently asked for back. Yeah, the people were forced from sometimes childhood to work in these mines. And what I mean forced, I mean it's literally slavery. It's not, the end of Midnight Mass gave a huge payout. I like the whole thing, even with it being slow. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking it's gotta be adding up to something. Tony Man says that's the one Bahubali. Yeah, I'm gonna play the trailer for Bahubali after I play a little bit of the one from KGF.
History tells us the powerful people
and the scale that these movies are on, like they're super epic.
History was wrong. Powerful people make places.
Now look at this.
Powerful.
This where it gets fun. That's the type of stuff I like. And Yash is very, very popular. I don't care how ridiculous this is. I love it. And he lit his cigarette off the hot barrel. These are, if you want to have fun on a Saturday, pop some popcorn. Oh my God. I forgot I didn't put this on. Well, I'm going to have fun watching it again. Oh, my comment's going to make so much more sense when you see the trailer. I'm sorry about that. Let's try it again.
History tells us the powerful people come from powerful places. History was wrong.
And this series does span over like generations. The story spans over
Powerful
generations.
people make places.
This is the part I was talking about. I love this right here. Watch how ridiculous this is, but I love it. No, he lit his cigarette off the hot barrel of That was a promise he kept to his mother in the first movie. And I got to show you the next. Now that one dethroned RRR as the highest grossing. And now I'm going to show you the next one that dethroned KGF as the highest grossing. Welcome to Darkside says, there's a character in Midnight Mass that reminds me of Miss Carmody from the movie The Mist. She is like Miss Carmody 2.0. I know who you're talking about. That Bible thumping woman. Crystal, this is not a Bollywood movie. This is Collywood and Tollywood. They're outside of Bollywood. They're South Indian. But Bollywood does have some interesting stuff with the over-the-top stuff too. Our retrospective says this looks crazy. Yeah, now, and I didn't even get into it. If I had more time, I'll have to do it next time. But the movies coming out of Hong Kong and China, especially the horror. I'm sorry, not Hong Kong, China, Taiwan. Taiwan has some great horror coming out. So it's Bahubali trailer. And this is already on its sequel. There's Bahubali and Bahubali 2. Now, Bahubali might be... because I see that T-Series has uploaded it. So I'm not sure whether it is Tollywood or not. But it feels like it's also a Tollywood. Oh, that's Bahubali 2. So I'll just play the first one because I have not seen Bahubali 2 yet, but I'm going to watch it. This is on Netflix too. So if Netflix is going to do one thing, they're going to give us some Korean dramas and some great Indian action films. Wait, hold on. Is the speed? Yeah, okay, good. Yeah, and this one is like the whole first half an hour of the movie is about this boy trying to climb up that waterfall. But once he gets over the waterfall, that's when the movie starts.
చూడని కళ్ళు నన్ను దేవుళ్ళ చూస్తున్నాయి.
మా దేవుడు అమరేంద్ర బాహుబలి రక్తాన్ని వినుము.
Slicing throats. Look at that. Epic, I'm telling you, epic. Okay, Tony Man says Crystal is the name game banana fanafo fan of Bali Raleigh whatever. Crystal says that waterfall makes me want to go straight back to Sri Lanka. I'm sure Sri Lanka is beautiful. I am sure it's absolutely beautiful. Let me stop this screen. We had a good time today. I'm not sure whether I will stream tomorrow because I kind of I'm having difficulties with time management right now, to be completely honest. I need to edit some new reviews, but at the same time there's some trailers that I want to talk about. Like if I was coming on tomorrow, for example, I wrote down the things that I would want to cover. There's a new trailer drop for Chucky season 2. There's another Stephen King Netflix series. I didn't catch the name of it, but I have to look it up. I wanted to talk about the Quantum Leap trailer. I didn't get to see that yet. And there's also a Goodnight Mommy remake, which I am not watching, but I will do a reaction for the trailer. So those are some things I wanted to come through and talk about tomorrow, but I'm not sure whether I'll have time to do it between trying to film and edit some content. So we'll play it by ear if I have a live stream tomorrow or not. And then, oh, I almost forgot. I have to show you guys. I'm going to be on something on Saturday. Let me pull it up. Let me share the screen so you guys can see. Almost forgot to say, on Saturday, I'm going to be on Terrence McGuana's channel, and we're going to be talking about all things ghosts, like just different type of things, ghost movies, ghost stories, real life ghost encounters, just ghosts. It's going to be a very ghostly show, but that's on Terrence McGuana's channel. I'm going to write his name in the chat so you guys know how to spell it to go ahead and subscribe. And that's going to be, let me see, it's 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so 7 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Pacific time. One R in Terrence, yes. Tony said that's why I said that people mower and people flying 85 feet. Yes. Crystal says it really is and crowded. Oh, I'm sure. My father was telling me when I know Sri Lanka is, separate from India, but it's still kind of in a same region. And my father was telling me how when he was traveling through there and his final destination was in India, about how crowded it is. But it's like there's so many places like that here too. Like whenever I can remember every time I would take the Metro North from Connecticut to New York, feeling how much more crowded New York is than Connecticut. Like it's night and day. Crystal said, I saw that. Should ghosts be employed? LOL. I guess that's one of the well, I think the joke is that Bruce Willis's character in the Sixth Sense was going to work. Like he kept going to work. Lorden says, we're going drunk. I think you mean we're going to get drunk on Terrence's channel. Yes, I'll try to get a sip in too. Tony says, word on the street is Crystal should drop in after the Orlando ghost hunt. Yeah. We did tell that story. We did tell that story on our podcast around this time. It was around August, September, when Crystal came to visit and we had a couple spiritual encounters. Y'all go back and check out that. It's a Coast to Coast horror episode. I think it's Crystal named it something Florida something. Go, look on Crystal's channel, Wordsmith Crystal Connor. Look on her channel, and there's podcasts of she and I talking about some ghost encounters that we had in Florida, specifically in downtown Orlando at the train station, at the Church Street train station, and in Casadega. Okay, so that's and Terrence picked this picture. I told him to go on my Instagram and pick whatever cosplay picture that he liked, and he picked the Tiffany doll. Well, specifically, I was trying to look like the Tiffany doll, not like Tiffany, but her doll, or I should say, not like the Jennifer Tilly, but like the doll Tiffany. On location. It was Coast to Coast on location. Yes. Look for that Coast to Coast on location if you want to hear some ghost stories. And we actually walked around. Crystal and I actually went ghost hunting, and we had like a ghost meter or spiritual meter that was going wild. And the ghosts like physically interacted with both of us, more so Crystal than me. I only had the ghosts, like I had these chains on my eyeglasses, and I just felt a little tug on the side of my eyeglasses, but that's it. But I think, didn't a ghost knock something out of your hand, Crystal? Did they knock like either the meter out of your hand? They knocked something out of her hand. They were more forceful with her. Y'all have a great time getting hammered. I'll stick to the Coke Zero. No problem. I'm not gonna get hammered. I don't like the feeling. And I don't recover like that. Like, I don't like the feeling of getting drunk, but I do like a little buzz. So I will sip on something and have a little buzz, but I'm not getting sloppy drunk. Not ever again. Not at this age. No, your body doesn't recover the same. Once you pass 30, you got to stop doing that stuff. I don't know how people be getting sloppy drunk and they're past 30. Like, you can't recover. 22, at 22, I could get drunk, throw up, not sleep, and still show up to work at 9 in the morning and work the whole day and then go home and sleep. That's not going to happen now. Not at all. Toneman says spectrometer. Crystal says, okay, but the whole channel Coast to Coast with Crystal and Shasha. Yes. I need to get in the habit of saying that again. Coast to Coast with Crystal and Shasha. And I need to make a new advertisement for us so I can just put it up on the screen. So I got to make like a little animation or something. Not like when I mean animation, like I can't animate characters, but I mean like moving words, that type of thing. So maybe I'll work on that at some point this weekend. But like I said, time management, I got to get better with it. Lorna says, my favorite part of the adventures with Shasha and Crystal was when Crystal pushed Shasha in front of the ghost fun times. I don't remember that. It says, why am I nodding and talk to you as if you can see and hear me? All right, with that, I'm getting out of here because I got to go cook something. I've been cooking more recently because Uber Eats is making me fat, and so I need to cook food again. So that's what I've been doing, and I've rediscovered my love of beans and rice. That's what I was raised. I was raised on beans and rice, and my body still needs beans and rice, and I love that. But sometimes I'm thinking tonight I might make a type of pasta, maybe something Alfredo or something, or maybe just do a regular pasta. I don't know, because I feel like doing beans and rice every night is a little bit, excessive. We'll see. Tonyman says that's what it's called, a spectrometer. Mm-hmm. Welcome to Darkside says, I'm cooking now. I'm hungry. Yeah, I'm about to get out of here. Let me get out of here because I'm hungry and I don't want to overeat. Because if you make yourself too, oh, that's a good idea. Donna Just Being Real says, do you have a crock pot? I don't. I actually got one for a gift and I actually gave it away. This was like almost 10 years ago. I wish I hadn't given it away because at that time I didn't really cook in a crock pot, but I wish I should get another one. My mother has a crock pot. She stays cooking in her crock pot. Like, that's her favorite thing. And her chicken soup is amazing. Crock pot chicken soup. And turkey soup. She makes turkey soup. It's so good. But yeah, a crock pot. I do have a rice cooker though. Tony says, I love whole wheat pasta. Yeah, I just got some of the pasta that is it's like vegetable pasta, and it's like green, orange, and like a cream color. I have that vegetable pasta that I'm probably gonna make. Brian says, is a 70-year-old gentleman that's on health and wellness. Bro began his journey at 45 and said from 45 to 70, he was more fit and vibrant than his 20s and 30s. Way ahead of the game, partner. Yes, there is a difference between your chronological age and your physical age. And that there's things that you can do that, like in lifestyle changes. If you are a 23-year-old alcoholic who doesn't sleep and eats nothing but fast food, you're not going to be in the same shape as a 45-year-old that is a non-alcoholic who has a fitness a habit of having doing physical fitness daily and eating well, and who doesn't smoke cigarettes. It's all about lifestyle. And then there's people who are anomalies. Like I have an uncle that smokes like a chimney, but he rides a bike. He rides a bike everywhere. So he's very much in physical fitness, but all that smoking, I was so shocked when we went to the doctor and his lungs were clear. And I was like, how is his lung? That's an anomaly. That's an anomaly. I can't explain that. And I mean, when I said my uncle, he's almost 70 years old. He's been smoking since before I was born. I think he probably started smoking in high school. And for his lungs to still be clear and healthy, I was freaking shocked. I was like, that's amazing. You are an anomaly. That's not normal. Donna says, yes, Uber Eats will lighten your pockets, but put weight in. Yes. Donna Just Being Real says, are you vegan? I'm not vegan. I've tried to be vegan, but it's so hard when, you know, what's crazy is my mother and my father at one point when I was really, really little, they were trying to be vegetarian. And I remember being about 4 or 5 years old, and my parents are doing this whole vegetarian thing. My mother's making homemade granola bars. I'm drinking carrot juice. And my grandmother kept messing it up because she kept giving me pork chops and bacon. I shouldn't even said pork chops because now I want to eat a pork chop. I don't have any in the refrigerator, so it's not going to happen. But God, I really, really would have probably been raised a vegetarian, but grandma messed it up. But I mostly eat chicken and fish, to be fair. Like I still eat meat, but it's mostly chicken and fish. I do have some ground beef or ground turkey when I'm making like dirty rice, or I like chili with the ground beef and beans. So those are two things that I have red meat for. And I used to love steak so much. Let me stop talking about food because I just did a Homer Simpson. My tongue didn't hang out, but it felt very Homer Simpson. Okay, Chris says, oh, wait, before you log off. Okay, I'll wait. Donna says, I'm not vegan. I have to have my meat. I will say not too much red meat. Don't want gout. Yes, very much so. So, yeah, when the other thing is if I were to go vegan, I'd have to be very careful because I do have iron deficient anemia. So I have to keep my iron levels high. I have found that like red beans have high iron levels, but I also typically eat a lot of anything green, spinach, collard greens, mustard greens. And I recently found out also from my mother that you can cook kale the same way you cook collard greens, and it tastes really, really good. So I've made kale greens. Well, Tony Moon says fish is great. Chickpeas, I don't particularly like chickpeas. The only time I ever use them is like if I'm, and this is rare because I don't typically make this, but like 3 times I've made arroz con pollo, I put chickpeas in it because that's what was in the recipe. But by themselves, I don't like chickpeas. Tommy says, I saw a video of vegetarians having a prayer and laying roses in the meat department of the grocery store. Well, I get that because many vegetarians believe that it's something about like the spirit of the animals. They don't like to not acknowledge or pay tribute to the spirit of the animals. Horror Retrospective says, I love chicken and rice. Yes. I love it when an auntie makes it. You gotta have an auntie that makes it. I have one auntie that's from Puerto Rico and she makes it. And I mean, I can never do it as good as how she does that. Donna says, yes, kale is so good for you. You can add it to your soup, salad, or roast it and have it as a snack. You can also use, anywhere you use lettuce, you can use kale. Usually when I make sandwiches, like if I make like a turkey sandwich, I use kale instead of lettuce because it has, well, lettuce doesn't have as much nutritional value as kale or loose leaf spinach. If you get the loose leaf spinach from Aldi's, it's only like $2.99. Sometimes it's on sale for like $2.25. And it's a big bag. It's like a bag like that big. Donna says, what is your nationality if it's okay to ask? When I say, when you say nationality, I was about to say American, but I know you meant more ethnicity. My race is black. That's what I am. I'm a black person. But ethnicity, I do have, because all four of my grandparents are from different places. But I have Jamaican, Afro-Cuban, Indigenous Mexican, Native American, and Irish. But all that comes together to make the black lady that's sitting here. And then the also my mother's side of family that came from Mexico moved to New Orleans. So they went from Mexico to Corpus Christi, Texas to New Orleans. So my most recent ethnicity would probably be more like Creole New Orleans culture on my mother's side. And on my father's side, Native American and Jamaican culture, although the Jamaican grandfather's father came from Cuba. So it's a whole lot of jumping around. It's a whole lot of damn jumping around in my family. Nobody stays their ass in one place. And then I had recently found out, which I shouldn't be surprised because I look around at myself and my cousins, and so many of my cousins end up having blue eyes, green eyes, red hair, and come to find out both of my grandmothers are a quarter Irish. So that's what pops back up every now and then. Horror Retrospective says, do you use cumin and garlic in your rice? Not necessarily, unless I'm making, like if I was making a jambalaya, I would put a little bit of garlic salt. Cumin, I don't know how to use yet. Comes in your spice rack. I have it in the spice rack and I don't know how to use it. I do know how to use ginger. I usually use that if I'm making like, if I make I haven't made curry goat in so long. I've mostly been making curry chicken. I haven't had goat in so long. Goat meat is so good. Y'all don't even understand. Goat meat, lamb chops, so good. Okay, Donna says, LOL. Chris says, scroll it from my comment. Okay, so I missed a comment. I'm going back up here. She says, oh, wait, before you log off. I see I'm nodding and talking to you as if you can hear me. Okay, the whole channel. The coast to coast with Chris. I'm not seeing the comment, Crystal. Wait, it says new comments. It says, no, you in New Orleans now? Well, shoot, I'm in Mississippi. No, I'm in Florida. But half of my family is still in New Orleans, and some of them live like in the surrounding areas of New Orleans, not the New Orleans city proper. So a lot of them actually had to move after Katrina because, things got flooded out. Donna just being real. Horror Retrospective, same here. I don't know how to use cumin. I know a lot of recipes ask for it. Crystal said it's about the nationality question above. Tony Man says you missed mine as well. You must be hungry. I swear to God, I'm scrolling. Okay, I see Tony Man's that says I'm waiting for the wrap up of the show because I'm about to be thunder rained on. Yeah. I'm okay. So after the wait before you log on. I don't see it because Chris, when I'm looking at my screen, I see Donna's question and then I see Horror Retrospective, then Tony Man, then Donna, and then it says scroll up for my comment. I don't think it posted. know what? I'm going to pull it up on my phone. I wonder if it's one of these, because I saw this happen to somebody else. I was watching their live stream, and it was displaying in their chat on their phone, but not on the back page. So I'm going to go and look at the chat. So I wonder if it's YouTube playing their tricks again. This they have to fix stuff like that, because it'll make, if it's a person watching the show and it's their first time, it'll. So I wonder if it's YouTube playing their tricks. There we go. They'll think that you're ignoring them when you're not. Okay, I see this one. It says, just being real, I come from Southwest cooking background. They may be it. Southwest Texas. Mm-hmm. And Chris says, Donna, just being real. Yes, kale is so good for you. You can add it to your soup, salad, and roast it and have it as a snack. I read that one. Yeah, Chris, I don't see it either. And then Donna says, I've been going on YouTube trying to expand my cooking. So I know Chris is not still in here, because Chris is our resident. I don't think she's officially a chef, but she might as well be a chef, because her cooking. I follow her on Instagram, and when she posts her pictures of her cooking, is so good. And she has a cooking blog. I wish she was here so I could ask her the name of the cooking blog again. But Chris has a cooking blog, and she would be able to tell us what to do with cumin. Crystal, did you curse in your post? Because it says maybe YouTube moderators, because I don't have a moderator on here, because I don't know how to add I don't know how to add the little. There's Chris. Chris is there. She says it gets weird on Jay's channel too. I'll watch the chat for the premiere, and some of the comments get held. Ah. Okay. Okay, I'm about to be real janky. I'm about to call Crystal to ask her what her comment is. Come on. All right, let me take this out. Hey, what was the comment? Hello? Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah, I can hear you. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's why I got held, because it's a link. So what we'll do is okay. Let me repeat what you said. Okay, so what Crystal was trying to do is she is in a contest that she can win a walk-on role on a horror film. And she was trying to put the link so people could vote for her. And I think it got held because it had a link in there. But you can find a link if you go to her Instagram. Her Instagram is it Notes from the Author? Notes from the Author. Yeah, I think they've now. What's crazy is they held your link, but if those Russian bots pop up talking about sexy ladies, they don't hold their link. Okay, I'm putting her Instagram. Go to Notes from the Author so that you can vote for her, because she's only got I think 4 votes away from winning. I think. Oh, I'm sorry, misheard. She's in 4th place. So we could try to get her into 1st place so she can win. So go to her Instagram and vote for her. Okay, with that, I'm gonna get out. Okay, Crystal, I'm gonna hang up. Okay, bye. There we go. All right, so go to and make sure you follow her anyways. You should be following her because she's a pretty cool person, if I don't say so myself. But yeah, with that, I'm gonna get out of here. Let her know she's on the air. She may try to sue you. Yeah, I'm seeing a bunch of people getting but those are like drama channels that are getting sued by celebrities because they're just talking recklessly. And there's a difference between commentary and making false assertions. So they got to be real careful with that. They need to like maybe learn about journalism a little bit, and then they'll know what's the right thing to do and what's the wrong thing to do. Donna says links will be held. Thank you in advance. I don't get it too. The bot sexy ladies come through with no problems. Exactly. YouTube is messy. I couldn't share my blog link last time you asked me to. Can you type in the name of your blog so that people can at least look it up? Because it's a really good cooking blog. Donna Just Being Real says, you have a good evening. Catch you next time. You too. And with that, I'm going to put the outro on, and hopefully Chris will put her food blog on. I should just interview one day you, Chris, and just talk about food. We'll have to schedule that. I think that would be a good thing to do. Maybe we can talk about some spooky recipes. But thank you all. Today we had such a great time just talking about different things. I love how just like natural everything feels. I like that. I like that. And with that, I'm going to get out of here. You guys take care.
Hey, 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 hey.